Hey, hello, I'm tunesy, if you couldn't tell by the channel name, of course. Oh my goodness, guys. We're on day freaking 35. 15 more days till the series is over. Counting down the days, counting down the days. After this freaking series, I'm probably gonna be off the freaking YouTube for a while. So, you know. But you guys could always follow me on my social media. I'll be active on the other ones, like Discord. I was gonna say Twitter, but like I'm barely on Twitter and TikTok. I do have an Instagram, but that's more of a private matter. Um, Either way, I bet you guys will find it. But yeah, um, yeah. Um, Today's state is Ohio. Down in Ohio. Down in Ohio. See what happened to Ohio and Quandale Dingle and all of that. I miss those. Or what happened to Detroit? Detroit. Now it's just 6-7. That's lame. For me, back in my day, it used to be 21. Anyway, today's song of the day, which finally we got this artist, is Hate Breeders by Misfits. The genre is horror punk. I love Misfits so much. I love all their songs. My favorite song is Saturday Night. I don't care if it's popular. My favorite song. Um Anyways, yeah. It is currently freaking 12:23 at midnight, and it is October 18th. I currently have prom the next day. Well, the same day, technically, basically, the 18th at like 8 p.m. I'm scared for it. I'm kind of scared, but like I'm kind of hyped because it's my first prom. Well, I didn't go to it last year, but I decided to go to this year because my friends wanted to go. So like, okay. Anyways, I'm kind of scared for it. I'm kind of not, just because certain reasons. Sometimes you got to keep stuff to the grave. Anyways, I should stop yapping. And yeah, let's get freaking started. Rephrasing myself, today's freaking state is Ohio. We're going into the O's. Um, and yeah, today's crime scene is about the Easter Sunday massacre that happened in 1970s, I think, if I'm not wrong. Um, and yeah, um, James Urban Ruppert was reported to have had a troubled life. His mother, Charity, had told him that she would have preferred to have a daughter as her second child. His father, Leonard, also had a violent temper and held little affection for his two sons. Leonard died in 1946 from tuberculosis at the age of 37 when James and his brother, Leonard Jr., were aged 12 and 14. Leonard Jr. became the father figure of the family and constantly picked on James during their upbringing, often taunting him. At age 16, James was so dissatisfied by hanging himself with a sheep. He was unsuccessful and returned home. As an adult, Rupert stood 5 feet 6 in tall and weighed 135 pounds. He was described as a modest, bookish, and helpful man who was unremarkable and quiet and had no police record. By 1975, Rupert was envious of his older brother's successful job and family. Rupert himself had dropped out of college after 2 years, then trained as a draftsman, although by 1975 he was unemployed, unmarried, and still living at home with his mother. In contrast, his older brother, Leonard Jr., had earned a degree in electrical engineering, had married one of the few girlfriends James had ever had, owned his own home in the city of Fairfield, and had 8 children. Charity was frustrated with James' inability to hold a steady job and his constant drinking. She had threatened to evict him from her home on more than one occasion. James also owed his mother and brother money, having lost much of what little cash he had in the 1973 to 1974 stock market crash. A month before the massacre, James inquired about silencers for his weapons while purchasing ammunition. His behavior deteriorated, caused by a deep depression as he neared the breaking point. On March 29th, 1975, on his 41st birthday, witnesses had seen him. engaging in target practice, shooting tin cans with his 22 caliber pistol and rifle along the banks of the Great Miami River in Hamilton. The night before the murders, James went out as he did nearly every night. At the 19th Hole Cocktail Lounge, he talked with an employee, Wanda Bishop. She would later state that James told her he was frustrated with his mother's demands on him and his independent eviction, and that he needed to solve the problem. According to Bishop, Ruppert stated that his mother had complained that if he could afford to buy beer 7 nights a week, he could afford to pay the rent. Ruppert left the bar at 11 p.m. that night and later returned when Bishop asked him if he had solved the problem. He replied, "No, not yet." James stayed at the bar until it closed at 2:30 a.m. On Easter Sunday, March 30th, 1975, Ruppert's brother, Leonard Jr., and his wife, Alma, brought their 8 children, ranging in ages from 4 to 17, for Easter dinner at their house. Ruppert stayed upstairs, sleeping off a night of drinking, while the other family members participated in an Easter egg hunt on the front lawn. At around 4 p.m., James woke up, loaded a 357 Magnum, two 22 caliber handguns, and a 22 caliber rifle, then went downstairs. Charity was preparing sloppy joes in the kitchen. Most of the children were playing in the living room. He killed Leonardo Jr. when he shot him in the head in the kitchen. Then he shot Elma. Then, as his mother lunged at him, he shot her once in the head and twice in the chest. He then killed David, Teresa, and Carol. James turned the corner into the living room. One by one, James shot his remaining nieces and nephews: Anne, Leonardo III, Michael, Thomas, and John. Charity had been shot once in the chest. The remaining victims were shot in the head and shot again to ensure they had died. The only sign of a struggle at the crime scene was one overturned waste paper bin. The Butler County coroner theorized that Ruppert had likely shot some victims more than once to prevent anyone escaping. The massacre was over in less than 5 minutes. After spending 3 hours in the house, James finally called the police and said, "There's been a shooting." He then waited just inside the front door for authorities to arrive. All told, Ruppert fired 44 shots, 40 of which struck their targets. James was arrested and charged that day with 11 counts of aggravated homicide. He refused to answer questions asked by the police and was very uncooperative. He made it clear he would plead insanity. County prosecutor John Holcomb viewed the crime scene and stated that there was so much blood on the first floor, it was dripping through the floorboards into the basement. Ruppert had fired a total of 35 rounds, and all 4 weapons were recovered at the scene. The original trial was held in Hamilton, Ohio, in June 1975. The 3-judge panel found Ruppert guilty on 11 counts of murder and sentenced him to life in prison on July 3rd. A mistrial was declared because the 3-judge panel did not know if the ruling had to be unanimous or majority rule. It was decided that the retrial would be held in Findlay because it was believed he could not receive a fair Blair in the city of Hamilton. The second trial began on July 23, 1975, and prosecutors revealed evidence involving the witnesses who had seen Ruppert engaging in target practice, asking about silencers for his gun collection, and admitting that his mother's expectations were a problem that he needed to solve. In July 1975, Ruppert received 11 consecutive life sentences. On appeal, a new trial was granted in 1982. Defense attorney Hugh D. Holbrook convinced his client was insane, personally funded the hiring of expert psychiatrists and psychologists from all over the country. On July 23, 1982, another 3-judge panel found Ruppert guilty on 2 counts first-degree murder, but found him not guilty on the other 9 counts of murder by reason of insanity. He received 1 life sentence for each count to be served consecutively. Capital punishment had been suspended in the United States from 1972 to 1976 as a result of the Supreme Court's decision in Furman v. Georgia. The mass murders on Minor Avenue had occurred in 1975, and Ruppert could not receive the death penalty for his crimes. On July 30th, 1982, Ruppert was incarcerated with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction at the Franklin Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. In June 1995, Ruppert was granted a hearing before the state parole board, but his release was denied. He received subsequent parole board hearings in 2005 and April 2015, both of which he was denied release. In 2015, the Allen Oakwood Correctional Institution Parole Board released a statement. The board had determined that the inmate is not suitable for release at this time. This inmate has not completed any recommended programming and does not appear to be willing to do so. Inmates record notes, negative instructional conduct. The inmate took the lives of multiple victims. There has been strong community objections to his release. The release of this inmate would not be in the best interest of justice. Ruppert's next parole consideration hearing was set to occur in April 2025, when he would have been 91. On June 4th, 2022, at the age of 88, Ruppert died from natural causes while incarcerated at the Franklin Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. Oh my gosh, killing your family for jealousy, I'm guessing, and for your mother saying that you need to get out of the house for being evicted, for not paying the rent, but you could also pay for beer. That's absolutely insane. Killing your whole family on Easter. That is Easter Sunday. Wow. That's absolutely crazy. That's the end of today's video though. This one's crazy. I would definitely call that insanity. I don't know what else you would call that. But no, he definitely deserved his life sentences, because what the heck? He had no reason to kill his family. And that's in my opinion. Um, but yeah, that's the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm freaking tired. I'm probably gonna go to bed after this. I'm so busy tomorrow. I have freaking Hoko. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.